Your Honor.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bexar County County Court at Law Number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Today is motion to revoke probation docket day. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. Representing the state in all matters will be Mr. Eddie Villarreal and Mr. Arthur Reed. Representing the Bexar County CSCD will be Ms. Marisa Sedovich. Ms. Sedovich, please raise your right hand and I'll swear you in at this time. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. The cases I have set for hearing today are cause 642-197 and 645-710. State of Texas versus Alfredo Hernandez, represented by Mr. Patrick Lamas. Cause number 635-757, State of Texas versus Jennifer Aguilar, represented by Mr. James Anders. Cause number 660-203, State of Texas versus Robert Mattis, represented by Mr. Cornelius Cox. Cause 663-354, State of Texas versus Abigail Siebers, represented by Mr. John Kuntz. And cause 668-245, State of Texas versus Carlos Escamilla, represented by Mr. Arnulfo Ortiz. Ms. Benavides has sent me a message that Mr. Anders is going to request a contested hearing on Ms. Jennifer Aguilar, cause 635-757. Is that correct, Mr. Anders?
Yes, sir. I believe that there are some tests that are necessary before we make it.
Let me tell you my understanding of what constitutes a contested motion to revoke community supervision hearing. In this particular case, and I just sort of casually aware of what the allegation is, it is alleged that on or about 15 September 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Jennifer Rose Aguilar did then and there fail to attend orientation at the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department in violation of condition number 5. The difference between what I call a fully contested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision and just a regular one would be that the probation department would attempt to find the actual original probation officer of Ms. Aguilar. If she's available, she would testify. If she's not available, we can proceed with the CSCD supervisor, who in this case would be Ms. Sedovich, who is present and ready to testify. And all Ms. Sedovich is going to do is read from the notes of the original probation officer, is my understanding. Is that your understanding of how this works at this time, Ms. Sedovich?
Correct, Your Honor.
And since the only allegation is basically a failure to show up for orientation and I guess not reporting since then, that's just going to be an administrative reading of when they saw her, when they didn't. And of course, the defense has an absolute right to put on any testimony or evidence you want that maybe she did report and that we just don't have evidence of that. Is that what you're after, or where exactly are we going with it?
I'm interested in a contested hearing. Yes.
All right. Who is the original probation officer on Ms. Aguilar's probation at this time, Ms. Sedovich? Do we know?
Let me look, Your Honor. I'm showing that Ms. Aguilar failed to report to orientation to sign her conditions. So currently she's assigned to CLO Gross. So she did not have a direct reporting officer since she did not report.
Okay. So what, if my understanding is correct, Ms. Gross is our assigned CSCD supervisor to Bexar County County Court at Law Number 6. She is currently on vacation. My guess is she doesn't know any more than Ms. Sedovich with regard to just reading the documents because Ms. Gross never met the defendant either. Would that be correct, Ms. Sedovich?
Correct.
So, Mr. Anders, where do we go now?
So I need to figure out a way to get her checked, not for competency, but for some issues that she has mentally.
I'm listening. What are the issues?
The issues are that she, from birth, I have spoken with her father, and from birth, she has had issues with remembering things and has gotten particularly worse as she's grown older. And but when she had made an appointment to go to a doctor, and the doctor said, okay, well, we need to take an MRI, and she ended up missing the MRI appointment. So I just need to get a doctor to support that information so that the court has all the information necessary to make a just and equitable decision regarding her probation.
How did we acquire Miss Aguilar? Did she turn herself in, or was she arrested for some other traffic stop or something? How is she in custody, I guess is my question.
I didn't specifically ask her how she was picked up.
Miss Aguilar, were you arrested at a traffic stop or did you turn yourself in? How are you in custody at this time?
You're Miss Aguilar.
You're gonna have to turn your microphone on, Miss Aguilar. I'm sorry.
They arrested me at my house.
Oh, they came to the house and picked you up. I've got it. If competency is not an issue, then we're talking about mitigation, are we not, Mr. Andrews?
Unless competency is an issue, I don't know how far this goes.
Do you want us to order a competency evaluation on Miss Aguilar?
Yes.
She's going to have to stay in jail for probably 30 to 60 days to get a competency evaluation, if that's what you want to do.
I spoke with her about that. Yes.
Okay. Let's defer proceedings on Miss Aguilar, and I will check with my staff attorney, Ms. Bauman, and see if, in fact, I'm following the right course. And both sides, state and defense, you're welcome to follow that also. But if it would be competency at the time that we didn't report, I guess. So let me check on that. In the meantime, I will order a competency evaluation for Miss Aguilar, and we'll go from there. Is that okay with you, Mr. Anders?
That sounds like a plan, Your Honor.
Is it okay with you, State?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. We're going to defer proceedings, and we will get back to you at the earliest possible time with a time schedule on what's going to happen, and I will do everything I can to try to move you to the front of the line with regard to getting this evaluation, so you don't have to spend any more time in jail than you have to. So that's the deal. All right. Thank you, Mr. Andrews. You're dismissed. Unless you'd like to go in a breakout room and chat with Ms. Aguilar at this time, we can certainly arrange that for you.
No, sir. I'm going to speak with her. I'll speak with her father.
Okay.
So I can get information. I think I can get some information from him that I need.
Okay. Thanks for your help. You're out of here.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
And Ms. Aguilar is dismissed. I don't know how we do that with regard
I'll
to
remove her.
jail. Okay, next case I have in line is call number 668-245, State of Texas versus Carlos Escamilla, which is a motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Escamilla is represented by Mr. Arnulfo Ortiz. Mr. Ortiz, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Once again, this is call number 668-245, State of Texas versus Carlos Escamilla. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. My understanding, Mr. Ortiz, is that this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
It's an explanation, Your Honor, yes.
Fair enough.
I think we're down to one issue. Mr. Villarreal wants an additional device on my client's ankle, and I say there's no reason for it. If the court could hear us.
All right, fair enough. The first document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purports to have both Mr. Escamilla's and Mr. Ortiz's signature on it. In fact, Mr. Escamilla, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Ortiz, as attorney for Mr. Escamilla, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Escamilla?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Ortiz, as attorney for Mr. Escamilla, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Escamilla, on clause 668-245 on the motion to enter, motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir? And normally it's going to be true. Normally it's going to be true with an explanation or untrue with not true with an explanation. Mr. Ortiz, how would you like your client to plead?
He's pleading true with an explanation.
Fair enough. Ms. Sedovich, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Escamilla's probation? I remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Escamilla's reporting has been good. His last report date was February 17th of 2022. He has completed his victim impact panel. He has not completed the DWI education or CAT-SNP. He is on weekly UAs. He's completed 0 out of 48 hours. He's paid a total of $408 and has a balance of $923. He is not delinquent on fees. He's on 6 blows per day. He has 8 skip tests, no high bracs, and he's had 6 negative drug tests. He's had 2 prior VRs. This is his second MTR. Probation officer is recommending that he continue with weekly UAs, admonish the skip test and violations.
And what date was the last MTR?
I believe it was her January 18th. I'm showing that conditions were amended to increase testing from 4 to 6 blows and the weekly ways and show substantial compliance.
And on the old MTR I'm looking at, basically there was continued drinking issues. He got a public intoxication and he just hadn't finished any of his programs and stuff at that time. And that was 2 or 3 months ago. So I got that. And the primary allegation on the new MTR are 6 skip tests, 7 skip tests, 8 skip tests, and not finishing some programs. And that's basically it. Does that sound right, Ms. Sedovich?
Correct, Your Honor.
And do you agree, Mr. Ortiz, that's what we're dealing with?
Your Honor, he completed the DUI education program yesterday. I
Okay,
have in my
great.
hands a certificate.
Giving you a check mark right now. And what about the victim impact panel, which only takes 2 hours? He's done that one already, I think, according to Ms. Sedovich. And the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is our outpatient drug program. Our new foes, he started that yet?
Have you done that, Mr. Escamilla?
I spoke to Dean DeSoto last night after my DWI education course, and he said there's an upcoming class on April 7th, I believe, and I can roll that one. I was just finishing the DWI education, sir.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give Mr. Ortiz plus 10 because although we didn't do a whole lot in the beginning, Mr. Ortiz has lit a fire under Mr. Escamilla and he seems to be doing it now. Would you agree, Mr. Ortiz?
Your Honor, he hasn't had a drink this year. Last time he drank was in December. He says he learned his lesson. However, he was
Go ahead,
on
I'm sorry.
antidepressants. That's why he missed the blow at 4 in the morning. That's what he says. I believe him.
Are all these skips probably on my 6 blows a day requirement, which makes him blow in the middle of the night, Ms. Sedovich? Does that sound possible?
Correct, Your Honor.
He says
Okay, I got it. So what are you requesting, defense?
I'm asking that we continue him and not put additional apparatus on his ankle, as Mr. Villarreal is going to suggest. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. When was the last skip test we had at 6 blows a day? January? We had 1 skip test between February 10th and March 2nd. Have we had any skips since March the 2nd, 2022 that you see, Marissa?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Escamilla, this 6 blows a day thing is going to cause you loss of sleep. You need to like set your alarm clock, get up in the middle of the night and do it. But it's a lot cheaper than the Scram Cam ankle bracelet device that I would normally use in this case. If you're willing to continue on the 6 blows a day, instead of pay the $350 a month for the Scram Cam, I'll continue on the 6 blows a day. Are you willing to do that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And state, what's your recommendation, please?
Your Honor, based on what we just heard from probation, I'm going to agree with probation's recommendation in this case.
Okay. So So at this time, Ms. Sedovich, apparently Mr. Escamilla has spoken to Mr. DeSoto, who runs the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, but he's not formally registered for catch-nip. Is that correct, Mr. Escamilla? You haven't, are you
apologize, Your Honor.
registered?
Can you repeat that?
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm
not
looking
registered for the catch-nip yet.
All right. So, but you're ready to register and start going to classes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Mr. DeSoto already gave me the dates, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Sedovich, what exactly does Mr. Escamilla need to do to successfully complete probation? Not counting stopping drinking and not missing any more blows on my Smart Start mobile.
He needs to complete his community service hours. I'm showing hasn't completed any. Continue with the weekly UAs.
Can he buy those hours, Your Honor?
We have a program where he can donate $10 per hour to a court charity, which are primarily Special Operations Wounded Warrior Organization or Family Violence Prevention Organization, and his probation officer should have a list of those, or you can get one directly from Ms. Benavides. But yes, there certainly are those organizations ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
When is Mr. Escamilla supposed to come off probation? December 2022? Does that sound right? I'm assuming that's when that is.
Yes, Judge, it's showing December 8th, 2022.
Thank you. Correct.
Okay, Mr. Escamilla, in clause 668-245, the court accepts your plea of true with an explanation. I denied the state's motion to revoke your community supervision, or you continued on community supervision with all prior requirements and no sanction at this time, although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Good answer, sir. Ordering a continuing of your Smart Start mobile device at 6 blows a day. Ms. Sedovich, would you please have the probation officer let me know give him a window of 60 more days at 6 blows a day and see how he does. And my theory would be if he does squeaky clean and he doesn't miss any blows and there's no high fracture alcohol, we'll crank him back down to 4.
Yes.
Keep him on weekly UAs. He's done well on those so far. Keep him on 4 more weekly UAs. If he shows me 4 more clean weekly UAs, I'll put that back on monthly UAs. Our newfound ordering substantial compliance within 10 days, which means I want him registered for the CATS, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is our outpatient drug program. Within 10 days of right now, he may not start classes within 10 days, but he'll be registered and know when they start. And he needs substantial compliance on completing his community service hours. Either he starts doing them within 10 days, or he can start donating the $10 an hour to a court charity within 10 days.
As you say, Your Honor, copy that.
Good. And Ms. Sedovich, what did I miss?
That's it, Your Honor.
State, what did I miss?
Nothing, Judge. That's everything.
Ms. Gross always finds something I missed, doesn't she, Pat?
Oh.
You got any questions, Mr. Escamilla?
No, Your Honor.
Your attorney has saved you. It won't happen again, so do good, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck. Y'all are you ready on anybody else yet?
Your Honor, Mr. Kuntz came in. However, he called back into trial. He is in trial in the 226. He's asking for a reset. They just called him back. It is a contentious sexual assault trial. He's asking for at least 2 weeks, Your Honor, and he had to go.
Is Mr. Kuntz appointed or retained?
Retained.
Okay. And can he do it next week, did you say, or not?
No, he's asking for 2 weeks, Your Honor.
And is Ms. Sievers on bond, apparently?
I believe so. I'm not sure, Your Honor. I'd have to check. Let me check.
Based on the docket, it appears so.
Hold on.
Okay, Ms. Sievers, turn your camera and your microphone on. I want to chat with you a little bit.
Okay, yes.
She is on.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm
Thank
good.
you for showing up. Apparently your attorney is in trial, and I'm
Yes,
trying to see what we're dealing with here. Hang on just a second. Are you still on a Smart Start mobile device? I'm assuming going 4 times a day. Does that sound right? Okay, and apparently we haven't had any recent problems with that because I haven't gotten any notifications, so that's good.
no, sir.
And it talks about you not having done something with the DWI education program. You might think about looking at that.
I've completed and I've signed
Oh,
signed up for all of my classes.
Wonderful, wonderful. She's doing good. Go ahead and comply with whatever John's requesting because she's doing good as is.
Okay, all right, Your Honor, then it will be, Ms. Seaver, so you know, it will be April 13th at 9:30,
April 13th at 9:30.
and
Okay.
it will be Zoom, through Zoom.
And I'm not making any promises, but the more of this that's done by then, the better chance you're going to have of having a good day, okay?
Okay, got it.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, now the only one that we have Mr. Hernandez here. Mr. Lamas was in, he did talk to him, Your Honor. However, Mr. Lamas was called to jail court. I have emailed him and told him that he is the only one left. Mr. Mathis and Mr. Cox are a no-show. And the defendant didn't show either, so.
Okay. Did Mr. Lamas have any feel for timing on this? If he's going to be able to make it this morning or not?
He has not told me, Your Honor. And like I said, I don't have his cell number. I looked, so I emailed him. You may.
Let me check.
Okay.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. Did you want me to stay on here or do I leave?
Ms. Severs, you can leave. I'll
Yes.
send
Okay.
him the information.
Thank you, Ms. Severs. I have Patrick Lamas telling me, text him a message. Is he appointed or retained?
He is appointed, Your Honor.
All right, well, if he can't make it, we may need to see if Suzanne or somebody's available to it.
Okay.
Let's take a 5-minute break and let me chat on that. And